Record. Okay. So first of all, like video, guys, welcome to another edition of the EOS Israel Meetup. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you guys for coming.
This is the Build on EOS.io special, and we got none other than Dallas rushing online. So Dallas, what's up, bro? How have you been?
Been great, man. Super busy. Got back to Colombia from Europe. Was out there for a conference and meeting with the Effect AI team. If you guys aren't familiar, they're moving from Neo to EOS. It's an AI project.
Yeah, that's we've heard all about it. But are you guys working straight with them or something?
So we partner with them. So we're gonna use their services in a really cool way. So any big social network in the world, right? You have a lot of micro tasks in terms of like reviewing flagged content or and it's things like that, right? Where it could be hundreds of thousands of little tasks per day. So they have a global workforce, and then also like AI that looks at the results and learns on the fly. And so we're gonna use them and their services because they're on EOS and they're awesome and they're crushing it, doing a really good job. So we're going to use them in a decentralized way to help look at content that's flagged as like abusive or problematic stuff.
So if you're in that field, could I ask you, how do you guys manage your content, your content and monitoring? Like, how do you protect kind of an offensive video for going into karma?
Yeah, so right now, to be totally honest with you guys, I mean, obviously people with any platform where users can upload what they want, right? You have the question of when they upload, does it upload right away or is there a delay? Obviously you'd like to not have a delay because, people want to see that instant feedback when they post something. So right now people are free to post what they want. We've got, ambassadors and people on the team, everybody looking to monitor. And we've had a couple of things posted that were not suitable for the platform, that were not suitable for any platform. They weren't just like something that wasn't cool. They were just terrible. And then they're quickly removed once somebody reports it. But what we're working to do is really just automate that whole process so that as we scale up, the amount of content uploaded every day goes exponential. So we want to be able to handle and remove that stuff very quickly because, to be compliant with app stores, unfortunately, anything like that's inappropriate has to be removed within 24 hours or else we could get in trouble. And we want to keep the app available for everybody in the app stores for sure.
Of course, that's a big subject because not only you guys want to be compliant for the different app stores, but you also want to keep it like decentralized. You want to get away from that centralized organism that determines this is a good content, this is bad content, like Facebook and right, like Wikipedia.
Yeah. Yeah, and they do it in two different ways, right? So they just flat out censor people because they disagree politically or they said something that was offensive or whatever. And we have no interest in that. I could care less what somebody thinks. That doesn't have any influence on karma. It's only things that could get the app removed from the store. So people can imagine what some of those kind of things are. But Facebook and those platforms also censor people in another way, right? Because everything is so algorithm augmented in terms of the feed that you see, and then they just keep showing you things that they think you're interested in, which in a lot of ways just confirms people's biases. And you don't really actually have as much control over what it is that you want to see. That you're just kind of in a bubble that's getting bigger.
You perpetuate your content loop forever and keep your bubble small every time.
Yes.
So, Dallas, do you remember the first time we got you on EOS Israel?
Yes, of course.
When was that?
Oh, when? I'm so bad with dates, man. I don't know.
It was like almost 1 year ago.
Yeah, I think so.
It was our second meetup. Mm-hmm. You guys were barely about to launch the app. It was right after the mainnet launch. So yeah,
we launched the app right around Christmas. I think when we did it, we had done the airdrop. We had the community going. Everybody was excited. We're getting ambassadors on it, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so much has happened since then. Obviously, maybe I can give kind of an up to speed for people who don't know about karma.
You got 10 minutes from when karma went up the air until today or last night. Go.
Basically, yeah. So Karma started out as the the idea of how do we make a social network for good? How do we create incentive for people to go out and do real things in the world that are sort of beyond themselves, that are awesome, to help other people, and also just share valuable, cool stuff. I think we've fostered a really cool community thus far. Obviously, people we don't want to say you can't post a picture with your friends, right? Because it's social media, people want to do that. So we're working on some really creative ways to make sure that more of the rewards go towards people who are actually going out doing really cool stuff in the world. But as of right now, we've got a working app that's out there. It's fully on EOS. All the content is decentralized. It's stored on IPFS, which means it's stored across like hundreds of computers instead of in some server in my room. That makes it vulnerable for attack. We've got almost 3,000 daily active users right now. We recently rolled out.
How many again?
Almost 3,000
a day.
Yeah, every day.
That's great, man. It's great to hear.
Yeah, thanks. And we think it's going to take off like crazy really soon. So we've just been waiting to make sure, because again, there's just friction points with all these blockchain apps, right? And I think from the beginning, we've been trying to reduce those friction points. So one of them was just getting on the app, right? If I gave the phone to my mom and said, sign up, she'd have no idea what to do when it came to looking at an EOS key, or most people who aren't in blockchain wouldn't know. So we wanted to remove that. So we added the ability. What's getting approved today for iOS, but on Android it was approved, and then we have a new version going in there today, so that you can sign up with Facebook. So you can just verify your account that you've got a real Facebook account, and then create an EOS account for free, which we're covering the cost for people. So once everything is okay with that in the next 48 hours or so, and because we were doing a couple stress tests to make sure we can handle a lot of people, we're going to start doing some really some much larger mainstream marketing. So a lot of YouTube influencers with hundreds of thousands or millions of followers who we think are good fits for Karma to share the app with their community. And then some other really creative ways. We've got a commercial film being filmed that's going to be in, just like a 1.5 minute commercial that's going to be aired in South Korea in either at the end of April or the beginning of May, in 52 movie theaters, 300 screens, every single movie for a month. It's going to air in the previews.
You guys are going mainstream.
So we got to do it, man. Everybody talks about mass adoption, right? But it's it's just, I don't know, to keep it real with you guys, right? I mean, there's 2,000 plus tokens out there, and everybody talks about all these things, and how many are trying to do it, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's just the fundamentals that matter. How many people are using it? Are they getting enjoyment, and do they want to tell other people about it, right? And I think that we're trying to just constantly stay on that. There's so many distractions. It's easy to go down the rabbit hole and chase other tails, but we're just doing the things that are going to matter for Karma in the community to get bigger and impact more stuff in the world. But I've seen amazing stuff on the app. Like, for example, there's a kid in Nigeria, and in Nigeria, for example, minimum wage is $36 a month, I think, right now. So there's people on the app that are making $5-10 a day. And when you're looking at $30-something a month as your minimum wage, that's about $1 a day, right? So they're 5 or 10xing their minimum wage with what they're making on Karma, which is really great to see. And I think that's why a lot of people in those countries are really gravitating to it quickly. But what we've seen, like for one example, there's someone in our community named Amika. Nobody told him to do this. It was just his idea. He made these Karma meal cards and like haircut cards with like a little Karma icon on them. They're green, like are green. He negotiated a deal with barbershops and food banks for homeless kids. If they bring in these cards, they can get a free haircut or get a free meal. And this guy just goes out in the street, does that, and gets like 20, 30 kids fed every day, and then posts his content in Karma. So it's really cool. Like, and it's awesome for him because it's like he couldn't really do that before because he'd just be doing it at a loss. But now he can go out all day, share what he does, and earn something from what he's sharing with people.
That's awesome. That's great to hear, Dallas. It's one of the real use cases that you pictured when you started the project, right?
Yes. Yeah, and I think it's awesome. There's so many people I talk to about Karma, and people are always like, oh, I had an idea like that, and we just didn't know how to do it. And I think a lot of it wasn't really possible until EOS and getting to look at a model of what like something like Steam did. The model just wasn't there. Nobody really knew how to do it and create the rewards for people and have it be where it's at today.
Okay, so Dallas, I got 2 questions for you. One is a bit logistical, the other is more technical. So
Okay.
the logistical is, how are you guys sponsoring free EOS accounts? That's probably a simple one. And the more technical one, because this is more of a bit of a technical meeting with we're a lot of geeks gathered around here. The other thing is, how do you guys store your actual content, the videos, the pictures, the big media? Because I know that there's no point in storing that in the RAM of EOS. So could you go a bit about those two subjects?
Yeah, so the first one, account creation, the first for the next, I don't know, few weeks or so or month or so, we're just going to cover the cost ourselves. We're budgeted for it, and we want to, it's sort of the user acquisition cost of doing business. That is what it is. There's a lot of block producers who've expressed interest about sponsoring free accounts for us as well, so that's another way. But also, we're going to roll out very, very soon a couple things that we think are going to generate revenue as well. So we have an e-commerce store that's pretty much ready to go. We're just putting final touches on it that will accept Karma, EOS, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and that'll be available on the on a website, and then also in the app, so people can actually spend the Karma on things that they like in the store, and then we're going to use the profits from that to help obviously continue things like that, like free account creation cost or getting more RAM for the contract if needed, and then also ads. We have ads that are going to come pretty soon. We put out some details on it, but there's the perfect way we're envisioning it is sort of two ways. One, people can spend Karma to have their content pinned at the top of categories for a certain amount of time for exposure, and then also sort of a really simple bidding system, kind of like what people see on Instagram, where you can promote a post, pick an audience, pick a budget, and then it shows every 5 to 10 posts within people's natural feed, so it all looks native and organic. So a lot of different ways, but also we have a marketing budget, and so again, we're really obviously trying to do anything we can to not sell Karma, because again, we see where it can go, but again, it's all simple stuff, right? If we can spend the marketing budget in a way that brings more users, it's going to increase overall sort of the value of Karma, so the party can keep going, everything can go okay, but really it's the revenue generating ways that we see will make it no problem to continue to provide free accounts for people. The second question, if that answers your first, is we use IPFS. So when somebody goes to upload a photo or a video, for those who aren't familiar with IPFS, it's referred to as like the interplanetary file system. And so it's just like hundreds of people around the world who give their computing power to be able to store content in a secure way. You upload the content, it gets split into like hundreds of little pieces. It then creates a hash, which is sort of redeemable to put all that content back together. It's almost like a code that then puts it all back together. That's what's stored on chain, so it's much less resource intense than trying to store it, some of it on chain. Obviously, EOS storage is something we're excited about. That was something that Dan talked about much earlier that would be coming to EOS, but obviously that's not fully here yet. But that will be some version of what IPFS already does. The problem with IPFS is they're not receiving any money for that, so people are just kind of providing it because they're awesome. And they think that's great, but I think for IPFS to be even better in a decentralized file store, we need to have incentive for people to do it, which is coming soon. But as of now, IPFS.
Awesome. Okay, so my last question before I let the community ask something is Karma in 1 year and EOS in 1 year.
Karma in 1 year, we're definitely going to have over 1 million users. That's the plan. And for us, we wanted to be making, just sort of what we're already doing, but times 500, where there's more people doing awesome stuff, making groups, meeting up and whatnot. We've got 40 ambassadors right now in 21 countries, I believe, 22. And yeah.
You're counting me, right?
Yeah. Yep. And so yeah, just doing it bigger than we're already doing it. We want non-blockchain people to know exactly what Karma is and be using it. EOS in a year, yeah, I think there's going to be several applications that have hundreds of thousands or millions of users on it. Millions of accounts, as opposed to where we are now. I think there'll be amazing applications, and then probably a lot more governments that are working with it, and then even real world businesses, utilizing EOS for what they couldn't use other blockchains for.
You mentioned governments. You think that's related to June's announcement of Block 1?
Hard to say. I mean, obviously, there's no secret. You know, they plan to release something, you know, sort of Steam It related, which will be, you know, sort of like Facebook in terms of the content, where you've got a mix of like text and photos and videos, and it would be web-based. So something like that will probably come out. I'd imagine, you know, again, I mean, I know Dan's talked about with like UBI and wanting to do something like that. I mean, it's important to have, you know, identity on it. So I'd imagine there'd probably be some KYC process or something like that. Hard to say. Maybe they'll announce some government partnership. It is interesting that they're doing it in DC, right? I mean, there's no place probably for government partnerships or announcements that makes more sense than DC in the US. But you never know. But they're definitely working on it. I mean, they're working this the right way. This is something I've said for a while. I think a lot of people, when I first got into blockchain, people were very Bitcoin maximalist, very maximalist and all this, and they want to just go, you know, no government, no fiat in one day, and then let's just run in this new world. And it's just not realistic. I want that as well, but it's just, we just can't do that tomorrow. There's so many things that have to happen. So I think it's important to measure where we are, where we're trying to get, and then keep moving the ball forward and forward. And then by the time you're at, you know, 7 or 8 and you're closer to 10, it's too late to go back the other way. But you can't just go from 1 to 10. And I think Block One's taken a really grounded, realistic approach in how to do that.
Beautiful. Anyone's got a question for Dallas? Lionel from Platin, mate.
Yes.
Hi, so good stuff. Technical question. If you're using IPFS, IPFS makes no guarantees that the files will be available. So are you running IPFS nodes also?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And did you actually say before that the server is in your house? Did I hear you say that?
No, I was joking, saying like we're not going to do it that way, as opposed to, you know.
Hey, Dallas, listen. It was awesome seeing you again.
Yes.
Another question. Sorry, Tal.
Yeah. Please.
Yeah, hi. In essence, how does the application decide what like good deeds to sponsor? Do you have like some kind of voting system or a DAO or something like that? How do you...
So right now it's community regulated in terms of the popular feed. So if people come on the app, there's 3 feeds. There's a reason why we have all of them, and it's just sort of looking at changes that were made on existing platforms that people didn't like. For example, sort of the algorithm-based thing. People really liked when things were organized by time, because you could find things in order. But now you look at something, it's like 6 hours, 4 days, 10 minutes. It's just out of order. So we have a popular feed, which is just things that the community upvotes within 24 hours, and it ranks that way. We're going to keep making adjustments to that and getting community feedback to really try to do whatever we can to you know, make sure that you know, we're putting a spotlight on really great content, but also we don't want to ever, you know, try and exclude something else from that. Then you've got a home feed, which is who you follow. That's obviously curated by you, purely based on posts from people you follow. And then we have a feed that's just new in order by time, so that the little guy can still have a chance for some exposure when they don't have a lot of followers or can't get a ton of likes right away in some of these other traditional platforms. And a lot of those are designed like that to make you pay for exposure, which is disappointing. So we wanted to try to set it up in as fair a way as possible, but it'll keep adjusting to show better content more often.
Okay, Dallas, we're out of time, but listen, thank you very much for coming on.
Yes.
And we wish you a quick 1 million users on Karma, and the best of luck for you, bro.
Yes, thank you guys so much. I hope this was as fun for you guys as it was for me. And enjoy the rest of the speakers. You guys got some cool people coming.
Thanks, mate. It definitely was a pleasure.
Awesome. Have a good day, guys. Talk soon.
Thanks, mate.
Bye.
Torben, are you with us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Wait. I want to see if I can spotlight yourself. Hey, Torben.
Hey.
What's up?
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm really good. Thanks, and yourself.
Good to meet you. Well,
That's great.
I know you, Will, but good that the community hasn't. So could you introduce yourself? Tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Torben Anderson. I'm from EOSphereDev. We're a consulting and software delivery part of the main EOSphere business, which is a BP on the EOS mainnet, as well as other EOS.io sister chains. And yeah, I'm just really glad to be in here, join you guys today, and tell a little bit more maybe about how we're seeing the world of EOS and how things are happening for us.
That's awesome. So tell us a bit about how do you guys come up with the idea of EOSphereDev? What is your kind of your day-to-day with EOSphereDev look like, and what's the development atmosphere for the EOS world?
Yeah, sure. So Ross and Shelley Dold, who run the BP, I've known them since actually school days, and you know, when EOS got launched, they were, you know, they got through the first part of getting everything launched, and then they had a lot of requests for people to do work. They said, hey, we want to build some stuff, we want to do this, we want to do that, how can we help? And Ross introduced me to my business partner, Brendan Ross, who's not on the call today, but we partnered up in October last year, and we basically just looked to meet that need. Basically, whatever was coming to the BP saying, hey, we need this help, we're looking to say, okay, well, what we really want to do is bring that kind of professional part to the blockchain world, in particular to EOS. You know, we feel that EOS has got that, and Dallas was just mentioning it, it's got that kind of real strategic feel. It's got that, you know, we're partnering with business. It's open source. We can do many, many things with it. So that's how it was born. We started in October last year, and we started with a few clients in January of this year. So just kind of like 2 or 3 months later. We're very proud of that. And yeah, we're just out there. We were in the bear market, of course, today. Things have changed a little bit. We feel that what we wanted to do was bed down and just keep building right through this bear market. And we were saying even a few months ago that, you know, what we want to do is have those tried and tested projects that when the market comes back, which today it clearly is starting to, then hopefully we can, you know, support developers, software engineers, and the community at large to help get some of those software applications out there.
That's awesome. So tell us a bit about your stack. What are you guys developing on? If you can disclose any project that you have been working on, or maybe the biggest thing that you've built, and what kind of businesses and companies you're trying to attract to you guys to develop with you.
Yeah, so I think at this point we can't talk too much about a lot of the products. Also, what's been a great, you know, partnership between Brendan and myself is that I very much come from that sort of big business strategy, project management, corporate world. But of course, I'm very passionate about startup. I'm very passionate about blockchain. Brendan comes from a startup environment. He's a full stack software developer, architect, and talented in many other ways as well. And we've found that our partnership has really complemented each other. So I probably won't comment too much on the application side, but you know, if you do follow us, we will start making some announcements over the next month. In terms of your second question, strategy-wise, it's our long-term strategy is really to build on the philosophy of what we feel the culture of EOS has been bringing into the marketplace, which is, you know, a good strategic long-term plan of working with big business. And we're seeing some really interesting ways that we could do that, where, you know, because EOSIO is open source, we can look to create different kinds of blockchains easily, you know, whether you want to call them sister chains or what, but we can create those different blockchains that business can use either in integration with external blockchains. But mainly we see that EOS has enough of a footprint that we think we can ride through that, you know, wave of including all the new software that's going to really start coming onto blockchain. And we will see, we are, you know, for example, we've prepared to help people move off Ethereum onto EOS. We're helping people, you know, understand regulatory and much more business focused stuff. So if I'm trying to do a financial application, what would that need, you know, what would that entail? We've got partners. So we want to just take a really mature approach, you know, as Dallas said, like we want to be able to come in and and be that partner that helps businesses scale, because they might be starting small now, and very much our client base is very small right now, but we're starting there, and we've got that sort of future vision in mind.
It's great. So listen, the last question that I'm gonna make for you, and then I'm gonna leave it for a bit for the community. You got here the guys from Platin, the guys from EOS Links, the guys from which is Kyber in a new EOS way. We'll talk about that later. And you got also the guys from Greenium. So we got 4 large-scale EOS projects that are in need of, are developing day-to-day, are in need of development. So how can you guys at EOSphereDev help them out? And why should they turn to you for kind of outsourced dev development and not just go find an Indian outsourced developer?
Yeah, sure. So I think a couple of things that we've found really important for us, bringing that kind of different type of approach to EOS. And first thing is that although we've interviewed over 50 businesses, we haven't necessarily decided to work with them. And that's not really the point. The point is that what we've wanted to do is make sure that we can add value. In other words, what we do first is we do a short advisory with a business, and what that does is that helps us to understand what they're trying to do. But more importantly, we want to be open and honest to say, hey, we think that you're not going to quite get the value that you need or that you want here. And so I just want to kind of share that we don't really want to be just seen as a dev shop, if I can use that. We want to be that go-to business that people can just talk to us, get some advisory, help them understand if there's value here. If there isn't, then we either refer them to somebody who can help them in a particular area, or, which has happened a lot already, is we come back later and we say, hey, are you ready right now? And how does that sound now that you've had a few things, bed down in your business? So that's really important for us, is take a real kind of responsible role in the blockchain world, because really we come across people all the time that are just going, okay, I'll build your app for 50K or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. We're saying, no, let's qualify your idea, your application, your upgrade, your migration, whatever it is. Let's qualify that first, and then let's see how we can help you do that. So we really want to be partners. We don't really want to be like a, in and out business.
That's a great explanation. So Torben, so what you say is basically they can come to you and get some value for free just for meeting with you, and you will advise them on what you think they need for the project.
Yeah, exactly. And as I say, if we can help, we'll tell people how we can help. If we can't, we will let them know. If we've got anyone in our network, we'll do our very best to find somebody who can help them. So yeah, we're just open to that, because we also learn out of that experience. We hear about people's ideas, we hear about people's difficulties, challenges, opportunities, and that helps us plan and track our strategy going forward.
That's awesome. And well, do you meet Hezi before? Because Hezi's here.
Oh, hey.
So they're probably working together. And so the last question is, for me, is how do you see the EOS development ecosystem in terms of what opportunities are being created for developers that either want to learn EOS or already know smart contracts or have the ability are very good full stack developers, but they haven't got into the blockchain a lot. So what's your assessment there? What's the opportunity?
Yeah, I think just to answer one of those questions really shortly, I think if there are developers out there, we would love to hear about them. If you contact maybe myself or Hernan, we'd love to hear about them. We'd love to hear about you if you're watching this. We are really keen to grow talent, and I think that the more and more people we can put in front of various software applications, etc., will help us develop people. There's quite a lot I could say. I think that one thing that is probably useful to say is that what we're seeing at the moment is we're engaged in some quite small projects, but what we are seeing is we're seeing the likes of probably the people in the room at the moment coming to us and going, hey, we're starting to take EOS seriously, or well-funded startups, and we're talking to one at the moment, that are saying, hey, it's not Hyperledger or it's not Ethereum, we just don't know what it is. So we come along and we help them actually do an assessment across Ethereum, EOS, etc. We want to try and give them the best view of the marketplace. But, people are starting to say, hey, we need something better. We need something with free transactions. We need all these different things. And I think that's where we're seeing it. So I would just encourage any software engineer that's interested in blockchain to get started now. Hit us up. If we can help, we will. But I would see towards sort of Q3, Q4, I think there's going to be really a lot of mainstream businesses starting to jump on, and or well-funded startups.
Great. That's it. And for that, you need to be already acquainted with the EOS stack before Q3. So, guys, questions for Torben? Okay. So, Torben, I'm really thankful for your presentation, bro. And we'll see you around. We're meeting on a daily basis anyway. So,
yeah.
Thanks, mate.
Lovely to meet you guys all there. Enjoy the conference.
Thanks.
Bye.
ביי. אוקיי, אז אני עכשיו יעביר את הבמה לחבר'ה של פלטין. אתה רוצה להתחבר? מה? איך שבא לך. רוצה? כך? עד שתתחבר. כן, תשים את זה מעל.